Hi, this is Ink, and this is Game Development with Godot. And it's been a while, and I'm sure where we left off much. Could check out the commits, the all commits, and I don't, yeah, still working on the bindings. I don't really remember much what changed. Code. Yeah, let's play. We'll have these, and what does it do? Oh, I think there was problem of not getting and press on the grid button. Well, yeah, this is done. Custom button. Look at position, probably can assign event handle to each buttons. So at the moment, if I press the button, it does, I'm not sure. Continue. Get a attempted to divide by 0 problem. Okay, that's not good. Yeah, it's getting the row and index of the button itself. Probably because the button does not hold that information. Grid button. Yeah, it's definitely because it does not hold that information. Grid model. Rows and columns. Try again. Grid model. Rows and columns. Oh, the rows method probably does. Nope, that's not the rows method that's problematic. It's button index. No, it's a rows method. Return the right thing. Does it even have rows? Grid model. Rows. Columns. Yeah, it is here. Okay. Okay. What's this one? So the problem is that grid model rows does not return a thingy. Grid rows, just I binary grid rows does not return. It returns 0 for some reason. And binary grids moves to the side. It returns 0. So it tries getting the length of grid. Okay, get length. That's probably because it's a basic array. Continue. Grid. Get length. 0 times 49. Constants. Is it just wrong dimensions? Those columns. On your Windows system. Ran away. Okay, I found it. Is get grid dimensions. This, how do we know that? Just from the list? I really cannot, because if it's a square, then how should I know? Yeah, that is a problem. This is not correct. Get grid dimensions is not correct. Correct only works for square grids, which in our case definitely can be not square, which means I need actual dimensions. Binary grid. Is it even used here? We provide a list of buttons, which definitely does not give enough detail what kind of dimension should dimensions. Just from the list of buttons. There is no way to know what there is. It's used the binary grid. Bind. The bind method. I guess, yeah, let's just add property for rows and columns. It will be, no, come on. Rows, then the binary grid should have rows and columns in here. It's a private method. Rows and columns. Then I do not need this one. Then I provide amount of buttons, and then it should assign it to cell types. No, the only thing that I need to ensure, or then have it to, yeah, I need to ensure that rows and columns are UI from the level designer, and the level designer should have rows and columns numeric input. So do I add rows and columns into here? That's for some reason does not feel right. How do you pass the rows and columns into the container view model? The bind? Oh no, I actually know how to do this. I just thought rows. Yeah, this one. Suppress issues. Silent. Okay, so using the numeric inputs, I bind it, and these should be up. Still not sure of this, but to help a bit. Binary grid 0 0 row 0 column 0. Why? Okay, row still 0. Let me update. Grid contains. This is not okay. Not okay at all. And now we just... Oh look, it did not bind. Dude, that's... Model... I don't know. Maybe just add a new type for the button itself. Maybe that's okay. Because currently it's just like unbinding the data to UI. Bind grid VM. Yeah, I guess we just need a different type. So and then it also would change up binary grid model maybe. Yeah. New folder. I don't know. CSS. Never use it. I don't know. I use Python Godot script to see. Yeah, Godot scripts, but no CSS. I don't use CSS for creating games because I don't know how to. That is the point, you just what you know. Here's my scene. Okay, so add new class, call it cell model, maybe? We'll see. Cell model, public, and the cell model should have these two. Game development is about a year, specifically with Godot engine. As for C#, like it's like multiple years, like over like 8 maybe, quite a bit. So at the moment it's a bit, yeah, using game engines and making everything from scratch is a bit different, and I'm trying to get the hang of it. As yeah, the first game I made was with Godot script, but it's definitely when we reach certain kind of complexities in the scripting language, not typed language, have the cell state and type. In this case, and type and main position. Do I need to have the position? Not sure. I have just I positionable. Yeah, sure. Let's first move the interface. Nip bring. Where is the extract public base class? ISL model. New file. Okay. All these. ISL model. And then this one would be positionable, would be in throw column. Yeah, all complete. Amazing. We need that in description. If the position, yep. Base, amazing. Auto, amazing. Positionable cell model. Subtly, no, the same. Setter, structure, empty, not really. That's more like default. Use primary construct. Okay, so that's cell model, which holds the cell state and type, which we need to describe. Cell type. Cell type is what? Is possible options, empty, input, output, just simulation. Is red? Maybe. More like the user can interact. Empty is self-explanatory. Okay. And the state is where response options. Yep. Perfect dot a. Wow, the autocomplete just amazing. This is just great level. Cell model. And this should have a numeric input will be a cell button. Nope, cell button. Yeah, the base class is button, and it will have a interface iCell model. Perhaps, or because it's implementing the base class. This is why the Godot is a bit silly. It does not have interfaces. It only so it's a bit. I would have cell type, state, get regular, get set. To the point I would say this is almost like a boilerplate and get set. Let's see. And the button itself. Okay, I probably need to say UI. Container UI. The button is added just the minimum size, and it also adds rectangles. Okay, public cell type. Next, sure. I could even add the custom type here. Yeah, so I would not need to update it to custom or not. Let's just make texture rectangle, state texture rectangle, and column. I don't know, textures, let's sell options. Wow, that's a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff to suggest. Icon, button icon, and where is the button? It's being set somewhere. It's just going back and forward a lot. Okay, so we have a way to store the type. We have a way to store a row, column, and we will have two rectangles which would be representing this. So in a way, when the cell state changes or type changes, it should also update the texture rectangles. So yeah, so I would not need to do texturing in the background. Wow, this is great. Pretty good. I really like the quality of the autocomplete here. Empty, okay. And the same cell state by default. Do this, for that, just for that. The locations of these methods, because how you do that. Okay, so have private paths, string, const string, yep, almost, base type path, close, actually, it may be just actually correct. Yeah, sprites, QC, cell states, yep, this seems to be correct. Okay, so texture, do we need to do okay, argument null exception, growth null, state path, perfect, just perfect. And not to be confused, that the state path also should be verified. Misplaced my icon. Operation. Can I do argument exception? Null of empty. I really cannot do that. This is, yeah, this is correct. Nice. And we need to invert to return it with the else for better readability. So yeah, if it does not exist, otherwise load the texture. Yeah, this is pretty accurate. Critical method to this one. Let's check the autocomplete. Nice. Cell type, base type, type to string, but not type to string, state to string, and type to string because we do is private. Yeah, that's pretty good. So yeah, so from now on, when we have the cell button, we only update the types, and that would change the texture. So I would not be needing to handle this on the higher levels. Yeah, in some way we could try test it out in a way. Make sure it's a global class. Oh, we cannot change the type and the state. Okay, I don't think the way to do this. Yeah, because the cell type and state is not a int or float or number or string. So the Godot does not handle these kind of thingies. Yes, much language. Looking back at the, instead of doing like this, min size and okay. So instead of doing this one, I would be adding this button row, and then we attach button, grid button. Can I override this one? Or I don't need it in here, or I have it in here? Yes. Basically nothing changes. The grid set icons. That's a different thingy. We do set the rows and columns. We do not set the state because initially empty. Set icons. Or do we need this one? Kinda not. Here we need to, okay, we have current cell type and current state, which is texture. In this case, not it itself. How do we set it's in the level? Yeah, the level designer, the handling cell is items. Item list has just a bunch of options which are added manually with type list. It's a type list. So instead of handling this here, I can just use here. Already doing that. Current cell type relevant. Icons, but up the bottom. Don't even need to have those. Type, state. Okay. So the grid, child to the grid, hovered. Yeah, that's the problem. This high checks Can you elaborate why I choose Bevy and Rust? Heard about Rust, I haven't heard about Bevy, I don't know how you pronounce it, but yeah, I haven't heard of it. Because generally you have, like, if it was like embedded, maybe, but it's not. It's UI for graphical game in the game engine, which does not support these languages. Okay, grid button pressed, bottom. Oh, it is an engine. Let's check the images. It's a bit bare bones. I don't know. Maybe if someday I would be learning Rust, maybe I could use it. At the moment, can you like compare it like between those two engines? Like what's the difference between Godot and Bevy engine? Well, languages. If I knew Rust, maybe I would be considering, but I'm not planning on learning that language. Does not meet my requirements. The tool I know the best produced the thing. It may not be the best tool for the job, but it's a tool I know, which is the best tool for the job. I haven't got much experience with Godot, but the main difference is the Bevy uses entity component system, but Godot uses traditional. I don't know the theory about these. I think the Unity also uses entity components, so yeah, that would require knowing a bit more about these kind of systems. I guess it could be that I'm also currently just coding in a different kind of architecture that Godot should be supporting. But the thing is, as I'm doing most of the things in the backend, I can't port it. Well, if you're just doing in the editor, well, good luck if you need to reuse some parts. It sets these guys, so I remove the texture place. The button icon is just for, you can do that in the editor. Should not impact the use, I think. What do you, yeah, checks what kind of experience then you do have. Maybe you made something and like to share. Okay, this is not requiring indexing rows and columns because hovered option. Guess this place. Grid containers. So here there is a, it requires cell state and cell type, which we need to figure out from the selected item. Actions item select Godot and the designer. Then we have the item list. Cell type state item list. So currently it's, well, typeless, which means I cannot add additions to that. It's an item list, but no item. And the problem is then if I use indexing, that's not okay. Yeah, for example, in VPF, or if you have item selected event, it actually returns the item itself. Here it returns the index. That's so not good. And maybe, and you can't really, well, tell it what's it. Maybe then it need to have like some kind of index differently, like item list. Why is it saying that it's, let's go private cell states get values to this item list does not support custom types nor recurrent caller. An item changed, we can, yeah, in this way I don't have a hard-coded list. It's more like in the way we define the enum, which matches the visual. Yeah, the way we coded the enum matches the visual arrangement. Me personally would do that differently if I could, but this then could be used to only. Option items. That's not okay. It needs to have set events on option item selected, on type selected, and on state selected. I don't need this one. I don't need this one. On type selected. Then this method could also change to have separate thingies. Public, yeah, state, type, not needed. State, type. Guess it only changes one at a time. It will be never two at a time. It will be cells types from index, from long to end. And the really important check is to validate this if Okay, now this time the over. But yeah, in principle we need to check count, no? Yeah, child, no. Count. It's not equal to state count. We'll be not adding new items because yes, and identical for list same element. Quite the script what it does. Option selected, to bound, and something, I don't know. Maybe. Let's check. Oh wait, I forgot I was not showing stuff. Amazing. Okay, at least the indexing seems to be working. Nothing happened. No. Again, nothing is happening. Okay, there are errors. Oh, I know why. Because of the legacy code. Because this one now, yeah, it's legacy. Which may break a lot of our stuff. Technically okay. Will it work? I'm not sure. That's why we test. That's why we can test. And nothing will go wrong because it's a game engine, not nuclear power plant. And it's not working. Cell type item list has 5 items, but there are 4 types. And why does it have? Wait, oh, it's neutral. Okay, so and the empty goes into the back. There's visuals. Where's my? Yeah, the empty is in the back. Though I would say it would be more correct to have these empty. No, empty. Go up, neutral with same with here, because empty should be always default because of error handling. This one, okay, let's go. It does nothing. Darn it. Of course the bindings are not working anymore. Okay, stop debugging, go back to the code, run it and check out what's happening actually. Okay, that's casting problems. Unable to cast type cell button to... Okay, so somewhere I'm casting cell buttons. Level designer, line 56, bind, view model, here. Yeah, let's have short. I'm back. Where was I? Here. Okay, so the binding, the off and binds the buttons. The list of the also assigns the event handler when the button. So here you can see the problem with Godot, that the button pressed does not return like a reference to it. So in this case, you call this? Who knows? It's a native which does not have the who pressed it, that kind of thing, and it's either this or I can change the base method, extend it. It's also because they wanted to make it not too different from the scripting. Maybe. Is it relevant? Not really. Hover button is cell button, but now kinda dumb. It works. The hovered button itself has row and columns. Row and dot column. Yeah, don't need this one, not this one. Just directly set button. Way better. Type. When the button is pressed, it just says the main grid. Don't type to the binary grid. Don't even need this one. The button list simply have lists first or default. Yep. Does it need to have children? No, it does not. You can directly set the type and state type dot state. Neat formatting here. Format selection. This is not needed anymore. These are not needed anymore. Look how cleaner it is. And this one is cleaning. So when the button is pressed, it finds which button is pressed using get hovered. Not clean, but works. And then just based on the row and column which you set, you initialize the grid in the somewhere. Then the button itself know where it's located, so you can run. Okay, it returns the binary grid. Sadly, it's 0, 0. Probably because the rows and columns are still at 0, 0 by default, I think. Rows and columns. Yeah, it uses this. Sure. Here you go. Yeah, currently I'm doing the data binding, but in principle you should be able to click and draw. At the moment it's not working. So just add the cells, add conditions, run simulation, save it to file, and then use it in the game itself. Make levels, hit the grid. Yeah, but at the moment we have index out of array. There's also, I guess, show the initial design, which used different kind of physics. Main scene. Yeah, the initial design was like this, which is just basically used collisions, a rigid shape, so engine features. Let's hope it does run. Bit of changes. Yeah, it used to use collisions to detect where to go, but eventually just became too cumbersome and hard. But as you can see, this one moves in zigzag pattern, and based on the neighboring cells, it moves the just run it back and then check if simulations complete this. Not sure if it's a simple thing, still quite early in development, but in principle this is how it goes. And yeah, it switched to a bit more concrete solution, which does not use physics engines, it just uses math matrices, because in principle it's just matrices. But then it goes into how do you display it. And at the moment we have a problem of index was outside the bounds, because when we initialize grid view model, it initializes the zeros. I guess when I press bind it does not. Oh, because the control's numeric value is actually zeros. Let's run it. Yeah, numeric value is 0. While grid VM is binding. And the grid itself is a margin container. Set rows and columns. This is container UI. This value does not go into the view model value on startup. The ready columns, correct one. But when we press update, we then take from the inputs, input tab and grid VM. Okay, that is loaded and goes into the binding. Save it here by this. Grid from it is the correct size, 714, and then we bind the button. Continue. Okay, it does not work. No, it's either the resource is not loaded or binding does not. The event button magic basically. Okay, button row, button it did not change, and type, so the type did change, not. Correct state and correct type, not right. Continue. Okay, so I guess it's just the which should be in the cell button. Okay, it's trying to update source loaded date path. Maybe it's different thing. Do not use the load method. The data is definitely going. Resource path. Is it texture null? Yeah, the texture is null. Okay. Source path, state path, and then just assign the texture. Whenever a resource is loaded from path, possible cyclic resource. Okay, you cannot do that. Maybe then we could load 2D state path. Maybe. This one. Continue. That is why I don't like it. Like, come on, just set it. Set the path. Was the resource from the file system located at the resource is loaded on the method call unless it's referenced already elsewhere in another script or in the scene. So it's a singleton. To avoid unnecessary delays when logging something multiple times, either store the resource variable. Note the resource path be obtained right-clicking on the resource in the file system doc, choosing copied path. So is it just if I made it like a 2D texture? Where's the path to that? Okay, close this one. Copy the path to the path. Come on, set everything to why? Google time. Godot. Change texture. Lock and lock editing. Why? Texture from image. Not really. Native image data contains image data which can be converted to an image texture and provides commonly used image processing method. The maximum width and height for image uh, can be assigned text directly and must be converted now to image texture. Image, sure, new image. Does new image has, nope, it does not have parameters. Load. This is dumb. This is so dumb. I just want to give you a resource path and you just change it. It will not. Change texture resource in runtime. Yeah, I want to change it. Or is it just wrong state? Change these breakpoint. And the breakpoint says that the state is correct one. State path is a resource. All states that the correct path. Yes, it is the correct path. Source loader exists. Why is it not updating? Cell state texture angle. Maybe it has an update. The transform. Refresh. Pre-propagate. Resize. Show. Not gonna load on initially. Maybe because it's not instantiated. Something. It's just not instantiated. How do you do this again? Load. Is it on there already? Probably already. Maybe yeah, I just did not add any. Yes. Okay, that is more clear. So the problem was, this is okay, that by default, if you add an object here, it does not tree. Right, Sona wants some. Yeah, so by default, it does not add anything to the tree. So of course it does not a tree. Now let's see if it actually worked loading that. Click. It worked. Kind of. Almost. Change it. Yeah. It works. Let's go. Again, kind of, because the indexes are wrong. But it does seem to work. Left. Up. Up is A. Okay, the indexes are definitely wrong for the cell states. It does work. Use the size. Look at this. Yeah, data binding, I think. Okay. So need to check on the index because definitely not correct. Indexes. Are my enums not likely? Enums. I am lost. A, B, up, down, left. It's left, and right. Switch it up. It could be that reordering it in the designer does not change the indexes. That could be the case. Wait, where's my grid? Hey grid. Huh? My grid disappeared. Huh? What? What is this nonsense? Empty. Okay, at least empty works. Somehow it managed to not add any. What? This is so odd. To string. Can I? Do we need that show? I think so. What? Why is it random size now? Huh? I'm confused. Wait. Run it. Columns 1. Oh, I know what happened. Yeah, I know what happened. As it's a tool, did change the amount of. I think I need to change it to not a tool. Yeah. It just decided. Oh yeah, I will add a bunch of buttons, just because it changed the tooling already. Wait, I don't know how does it do. In the hell. This is not how it should be. Rows, 7 columns. It's not. Huh? Wait, let me check files. Scene files. Rows, columns. Full. It press it should go to load design. Container UI. Sort of okay. The icons did not pressing. Then hell. It worked just recently. Funky behaviors. Maybe just restart the Godot. Maybe it's the engine. It's just the engine that's bugging out. Okay. 3, 4. The icons stop loading. Grid icon. Run it. Amazing. Okay, I'm not sure what happens. It could be that they just added a bunch of visuals, or it should not have. Though I do think it's okay. So let's discuss what we do, and then I guess call it the changes. We did add a bunch of models, which I'm not actually using. for a cell, which that has position. Then we added a custom type button, which stores the state, location, and based on the state, it does that. And we then refactored a bit of code in the view model, build designer, so we could use the buttons. It made the code quite a bit more neat, as we can simply pass in the row and column now, and directly set the state type and state button we use, again from the rows and columns, because we did not have this information before. And same level designer, it seems to be okay now. I think that's a good time to end this. Just asking me something. Good time to end it, and next time we'll be figuring out why it stopped working. Like minutes ago it was fine, and now it's not. There was something with the row sizes. It literally just updating anything. Amazing. And we'll see how it goes. Okay, I'll be stopping the recording and YouTube. Bye bye YouTube. Next time.